This is the Alex Medina Law Podcast. Practical insights into the world of civil litigation.
What does justice truly mean in your opinion?
Justice is a complicated term, and it's one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around in the media, and I really do think that it does mean something different for every person. I mean, the big picture definition is restoring a wrong, righting a wrong, whether it be financial or some property was taken. It's helping a person or a business go back to the position that they were in before the wrong was done, to the extent that's possible. Sometimes you can't. In a case where someone does something negligent and a very, very valuable piece of property gets destroyed, you can't replace that. You can compensate them, but that's justice in that situation. But I like to think of justice, just like I like to think of every case I take, as unique and individual as to that client's particular needs. And sometimes justice means taking a loss. If you look at the bigger picture and you think about in terms of a company, is it worth it to spend $1 million litigating a case on a certain issue to prove a point? I've seen a lot of clients lose a lot of money and lose a lot of sleep on principle. And principle often gets confused with justice. But there are times when they are one and the same. There are times when you have to fight all the way to the end, no matter the cost if you have to. Sometimes that's in the arena of intellectual property. If you have a business and you've got an invention, and it's an amazing invention, and you've got a patent on it, our Constitution has said there are protections to that. Nobody else can take it. You put your own blood, sweat, and tears into that invention. If somebody wants to steal it, that's usually not something you can let go. You have to fight for that, because then somebody else will have your product, someone else will take your invention. And so that's an example of a time where justice means doing whatever it takes to win. But oftentimes it's taking a bigger picture approach and saying, what's the right thing for my client in this situation? And there's a saying when you mediate a case. Mediation is a great tool for resolving litigation. It's where you have a neutral third party, sits down with the parties, makes them see each other face to face, hears the problem, knows the law, and then helps facilitate a settlement. And the saying among lawyers is that the best settlement is one where both sides feel like they got screwed. Because what that means is both sides gave a little. Both sides gave up a little bit for the greater goal of ending a dispute. It's sometimes strange to say, being a career litigator, that I think litigation is one of the big problems in our society. And that's kind of the approach that I take to litigation, is that if we need to go to the distance, I know how to do it, I can do it with the best of them, and I'm willing to do it. But if there are other ways to avoid that process, then I want to make sure we explore them as early as possible.
Thanks for listening to the Alex Medina Law Podcast. Check back often for new episodes and follow along at alexmedinalaw.com.